Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so in a world where our respiratory health feels like it's, constantly under siege, pollution, allergens, that cold that just won't quit, people are definitely looking for natural ways to breathe easier. And today we're taking a deep dive into something maybe a bit surprising, something you might just think belongs in the kitchen pantry. Himalayan salt. But trust me, it's so much more than just a seasoning. It's actually a really compelling natural path to, well, clearer breathing and just feeling better overall.
That's absolutely right. For centuries, this amazing resource, harvested from these ancient seabeds, it's been revered, not just for its unique mineral makeup, but yeah, for its potential therapeutic side too. Beyond its usual uses, Himalayan salt is really stepping into the spotlight now for like holistic respiratory care.
Yeah.
And the story behind it, it's pretty compelling.
So our mission today is to kind of trace this journey of Himalayan salt from its ancient roots and its subtle presence in our homes, maybe with lamps, all the way to more targeted relief and even some pretty cutting-edge therapeutic stuff. We're going to unpack the respiratory benefits of salt. We'll look at practical uses, from that gentle lamp glow to powerful inhalers and these amazing salt walls. And yeah, we'll tackle some common myths too. All this to help you get really well informed about this ancient wisdom for modern breathing relief. So, okay, let's unpack this. Where did this idea even start? Using salt for health.
Right. Well, the idea of using salt for breathing issues isn't new at all. It actually goes back centuries. Modern salt therapy, what we call halotherapy now, it basically draws its core ideas from observations. Way back in European salt mines, people noticed that the miners, even though they worked in, pretty harsh conditions sometimes, they had remarkably fewer respiratory problems compared to everyone else. And that observation, that simple noticing, it eventually led to developing therapeutic salt caves. And then later, more controlled halotherapy rooms designed to mimic those beneficial mine environments.
That's incredible, just from watching miners. So was there something really unique about those specific mines, or is it just the salt itself, you think? And what's the actual science? How does it work on a micro level when you breathe this stuff in?
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. It really boils down to inhaling these microscopic salt particles. So when a dry salt aerosol is properly dispersed, these super tiny particles get inhaled deep into your respiratory system. We're talking nasal passages, sinuses, all the way down into the smallest airways in your lungs, the bronchioles. And once they're there, they do a few key things. First, they have an anti-inflammatory effect. So they help reduce that irritation and swelling in the airways, which, makes breathing easier. Second, salt is naturally antibacterial and antifungal, so it helps cleanse the airways by stopping harmful microbes from growing. Third, it has what's called a mucolytic effect. Basically, it thins out mucus, makes it less sticky, easier for your body to get rid of, clears blockages, improves airflow. And finally, for people with hypersensitive airways, common in asthma or allergies where airways overreact, regular salt exposure might help calm that down, reduce that bronchial hyperresponsiveness.
Wow. So it's not just one thing. It's like a multi-action approach. Calming, cleansing, clearing, all at the same time, setting up a better environment for your body to breathe. That's pretty amazing for something so simple. And like you said, while the original idea came from salt rooms, these principles can apply to things we use at home too, right?
Yeah, which brings me to those really pretty Himalayan salt lamps you see everywhere now. I've always wondered, do they actually do anything for your breathing? Or are they mostly just, nice mood lighting? A lot of people ask, are they just a nice decoration? Or is there real science behind the air purifying claims? What's the actual deal there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And the answer is, well, it's a bit nuanced. The most popular claim is about negative ions, that the lamps release them. And these ions neutralize positive ions from pollutants, electronics, that kind of thing, cleaning the air. Now, independent scientific research on lamps producing enough ions to, drastically purify a whole room, that's limited. But it is worth mentioning some health experts like Dr. Oz, for example, have pointed to possible health benefits from the natural ions they give off. What's more concrete, though, is that salt is hygroscopic, meaning it attracts water vapor from the air. And that water vapor often carries stuff like allergens, dust, pollutants. So when the lamp warms up, the water evaporates. And theoretically, those trapped particles get left behind on the lamp's surface. It's subtle. Think of it as a gentle helper for air quality, not like a heavy-duty air filter. And these lamps, the good ones anyway, are made from grade A, ISO-certified Himalayan salt. That means they meet strict quality standards for purity, which is important if you're thinking about health benefits, right?
Okay, so the ion thing is maybe less proven, but the hygroscopic effect, attracting moisture and pollutants, that's real, just subtle. And the calming vibe is definitely real too, right?
Exactly. Don't underestimate the calming atmosphere. that soft amber glow. It's really soothing. It helps cut down exposure to that harsh blue light from screens, which we know can mess with sleep and increase stress. And when you're relaxed, your breathing naturally becomes deeper, more rhythmic. Your respiratory muscles ease up, airflow gets easier. It's a definite benefit. Plus, they come in all sorts of sizes, so you can place them strategically to get that calming effect where you need it.
It's fascinating how just having these lamps around can sort of shift the feeling of a space and maybe even help us breathe a bit easier indirectly. So if a lamp does that subtly, what about scaling up, like a whole wall made of salt? That sounds next level.
Salt walls definitely are a more powerful way to bring those ambient salt benefits into a space. And visually, they're stunning. A really cool innovation here is these pre-assembled panels. They're like plug-and-play salt brick walls. They come with remote control, dimmable LED backlighting built right in. So you totally skip the mess and cost of building a custom wall brick by brick. And the backlighting isn't just for looks, though it does highlight the beautiful natural colors in the salt. It actually enhances that subtle ion release and the hygroscopic effect we talked about. So you get a more consistently clean, calm breathing environment. It's not quite a clinical halotherapy session, but it's continuous passive exposure. They're super versatile too. Come in standard sizes, like from 1 by 1 foot up to 6 by 3 feet. You can stack them, put them side by side, make room dividers, big feature walls. And yeah, they're handcrafted when you order, so each one's unique.
Right. It's amazing how these background elements can add up. But okay, what if someone needs something more direct, more targeted for breathing relief than just having salt around? What are the options then?
For that more direct, personal approach, Himalayan salt inhalers are really convenient and pretty effective home remedy. They're basically these little handheld devices filled with unrefined Himalayan salt crystals. So as you breathe in through the mouthpiece, the moisture from the air and from your own breath, it picks up microscopic salt particles from those crystals, and it carries them deep into your airways. Once they're in there, the thinking is they help draw out impurities, reduce inflammation, thin out mucus, just like we discussed with halotherapy, makes it easier to clear things out. So regular use might soothe irritated airways, maybe reduce coughing, help with congestion, from allergies, asthma, sinusitis, even just a common cold. People often find their nasal passages feel clearer, maybe less wheezing. Using them is simple. Mouthpiece to your lips, inhale slowly and deeply through your mouth, then exhale normally through your nose. Important, don't exhale back into the inhaler. You can start with maybe 5-10 minutes a day, see how it feels, maybe increase it gradually. It's a completely drug-free way to try out salt therapy.
That sounds incredibly easy to use, like a little personal salt cave on the go. And what about even simpler things? Just using the pure salt itself, maybe for quick relief from common annoyances?
Oh, absolutely. Pure Himalayan salt is great for some easy DIY remedies. First up, saline rinses or nasal washes. Using a neti pot or one of those nasal rinse bottles with a warm salt solution. Super effective for clearing out your nasal passages. The salt water helps thin mucus, moisturizes the passages, and physically flushes out irritants, pollen, dust, allergens, whatever's up there. For this, you dissolve about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of fine, pure Himalayan salt. Again, really important to avoid regular table salt with additives, like anti-caking agents.
Right, pure stuff only. Got it.
Yeah. Dissolve that in about 1 cup of lukewarm distilled water, or water that's been boiled and cooled. Purity is key, just like with the lamps.
Okay, so nasal rinse. What else?
Then, for a sore throat or a cough or just general throat irritation, salt gargles are classic for a reason. The salt helps draw excess fluid out of inflamed tissues, which reduces swelling and pain. Plus, it has mild antiseptic properties, helps cleanse the throat. For that, just dissolve about 1/4 teaspoon of pure Himalayan salt in 1/2 cup of warm water. Gargle for maybe 30 seconds, spit it out. You can do that a few times a day. And one more. Steam inhalation, but boosted with salt. If you're congested or have bronchial irritation, adding salt to steam can really help. Carefully add maybe 1 or 2 teaspoons of Himalayan salt to a bowl of hot water, not boiling, just hot steam. Drape a towel over your head and the bowl, lean over carefully, and just inhale the steam for 5 to 10 minutes. The steam opens things up, and the salt helps thin mucus and soothe irritation.
This is really practical stuff, but it does make me wonder, is Himalayan salt only about breathing? Because it sounds like its unique properties might lend themselves to other things too.
It definitely does branch out. While we're focused on respiratory health today, it's fascinating how Himalayan salts, its thermal stability and dense mineral structure, make it useful beyond that. Like in the kitchen, those same beautiful salt bricks we talked about for walls, they're actually amazing for cooking and grilling. You can heat them up on the grill, stovetop, even in the oven, and use them as a cooking surface. So as you cook food on them, think fish, chicken, veggies, shrimp it. The brick imparts this really subtle, complex mineral saltiness. You often don't even need other seasoning. Plus, they hold heat incredibly well, so things cook evenly.
Wait, seriously, you can actually sear a steak right on a block of salt. That's pretty cool. Definitely a conversation starter at a BBQ.
Absolutely. And it works the other way, too. Chill those same bricks in the fridge or freezer, and they become these elegant serving platters, perfect for keeping cold things cold: sushi, cheese, fruit platters. They stay cold for a long time and add just a hint of that natural saltiness. Plus, they just look gorgeous with those pink hues. They come in practical sizes for cooking or serving, usually sold in pairs.
Incredible versatility. Okay, but let's circle back to respiratory health for a second. For people with more serious, persistent issues, maybe the lamps or inhalers aren't quite enough. Is there a more, heavy-duty option, a more advanced form of salt therapy?
Yes, for those situations, we move towards halogenerators and dedicated salt spaces. A halogenerator is a specialized machine. Its job is to grind pure pharmaceutical-grade salt, very specific kind of salt, into precisely sized microscopic particles. And then it disperses these particles into an enclosed room, creating a controlled, dry salt aerosol environment. It's basically recreating the conditions of a professional salt cave, but with more precise control. The big benefit of this controlled halotherapy is consistency and concentration. The tiny dry salt particles can penetrate really deep into the respiratory system, offering potentially stronger anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and mucus-clearing effects. That precision in particle size and how much salt is in the air can be really beneficial for managing chronic conditions, things like severe asthma, severe allergies, COPD, bronchitis, even cystic fibrosis, where that consistent targeted delivery can make a real difference in managing symptoms and improving quality of life. And you can actually find professional-grade equipment now, even options to build a small salt room at home with a halogenerator. So you can bring that sort of clinical-level approach into your own space, if needed.
Wow. What an incredible journey we've been on today, exploring Himalayan salt. From its, ancient history to the gentle vibe of salt lamps, the direct help from inhalers, the really immersive feel of salt walls, those high-tech halogenerators, and even cooking on it. It's just amazing how versatile this one natural resource is, especially for breathing relief and just general well-being.
It really is remarkable.
Yeah.
And while all these natural approaches can offer significant support, maybe even relief, it's so important to remember they are complementary therapies. You should absolutely always talk to your doctor or healthcare professional first for diagnosis, for treatment plans, before making any big changes to how you manage your health, especially if you have serious or ongoing respiratory problems. And just to reiterate, all the quality Himalayan salt products we've touched on, they're sourced from that high-grade, pure Himalayan salt, which ensures you're getting the real deal.
Right. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? How might bringing some of this ancient wisdom into your life, whether it's a lamp, an inhaler, or maybe just gargling with salt water, how might that subtly shift things for you? Perhaps it's just a gentle reminder, that sometimes the most profound solutions, or at least helpful ones, are hidden in nature's simplest gifts. Something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.